DeWanna Bonner in the hot seat after saying what she stated last night in her press conference, man. I can't lie, it does look like some hypocrisy going on.
DeWanna Bonner continues to take shots at the Indiana Fever and the Fever fans. I think it's absolutely disgusting.
The audacity some people have is truly unbelievable, and Dana Bonner just took it to a whole new level. In a stunning ESPN interview, she boldly claimed, "I wouldn't change a thing." This comes after pocketing nearly $200,000 from the Indiana Fever while delivering next to nothing. She signed the contract, collected paychecks for months, then disappeared for 5 games citing vague personal reasons, only to quietly force her way out. Now she's in Phoenix, flipping the script and acting like she's the one who was wrong. The victim act? Completely unconvincing.
I wouldn't do anything differently. I think my journey is my journey and I'm going to accept that. It carried me to where I am in Phoenix and it happened that way for a reason. I mean, really, that is a wild statement.
You stole that money from Indiana. You signed up for that bread and didn't deliver. You didn't show up for work. You made up bullcrap excuses to not be at work.
That level of arrogance is truly staggering, especially when you think back to how Fever fans embraced her with open arms, treating her like royalty from day one. Meanwhile, she was quietly plotting her exit behind the scenes. If you're as shocked and disappointed as the rest of us, hit that like button and flood the comments with "Investigate Bonner," because what we're about to reveal breaks down exactly how this betrayal played out, step by step.
She came over here, she signed a max contract, she knew Phoenix didn't have the bread, she got 80 here and went and got the rest over there. I think it's trash.
I wouldn't do anything differently. You took 80 grand from the Indiana Fever. You could have just signed. Like, that's one of the things, like, I don't understand why you take these interviews. I don't understand why someone would take an interview and say that, when the reality is that all you did was took a whole bunch of money from a team to not show up.
Bonner's comments aren't just out of touch, they're a direct slap in the face to every fan who invested their money, time, and loyalty into supporting her. To go on national television and act like she did nothing wrong after cashing in and failing to deliver on her end of the deal says everything you need to know about her character, or the glaring lack of it.
You refuse to show up to work while receiving money, while taking payment. You refuse to show up and do the job. And let's be clear, you wasn't even good while you was here. You was shooting threes hitting the side of the backboard.
But this is definitely going to be a part of her history, man. Because the new wave is taking over. These new fans are watching. So at the end of the day, yeah, it's going to be a part of her history, unfortunately.
At this point, it's no longer just about basketball. It's about professionalism and basic respect. Fans invest in tickets, jerseys, and the team itself because they trust that players will show up and put in the work. Bonner's stint in Indy wasn't some emotional, soul-searching journey. It was a calculated cash grab. And when it ended, it left both the franchise and its loyal fans feeling misled and abandoned by someone they once believed in.
This is DeWanna Bonner. I wouldn't do anything differently. I think my journey is my journey. I'm going to accept that. It carried me to where I am now in Phoenix, and it happened that way for a reason. It didn't happen that way for a reason. You forced yourself out of Indiana, DeWanna.
But here's where it gets even more infuriating, because once you start peeling back the layers, it exposes a much deeper issue with how professional contracts are managed today. It's not just about Bonner anymore, it's about a growing trend of athletes cashing in and coasting, with little to no accountability. And it starts with the most damning piece of evidence, the massive gap between what Bonner promised and what she actually delivered after signing that lucrative deal.
I just don't understand this. I don't understand why DeWanna Bonner is taking these interviews at this point in time. Because I'm like, look, you're in Phoenix. You've got what you wanted. You've got what everyone expected you wanted all along. Everything's gone your way. Indiana haters are going to love you because you've screwed over the Fever. They're going to love you because you screwed over the Fever. Phoenix Mercury fans are going to love you. Rival fans are going to love you because you basically screwed over the Fever. Fever fans are going to hate you because you screwed over the Fever.
We're talking about a veteran who put up a pitiful 7.1 points per game, while chalking up bricks and jogging around like she couldn't care less. This wasn't a player fighting through a slump, this was someone blatantly mailing it in, biding her time until the perfect moment to bounce. She started just 3 of the 9 games she even bothered to show up for. That alone speaks volumes about how little she was contributing, even when technically available. The numbers don't lie. 3.8 rebounds and 1.6 assists per game? That's bench-level production at best, not what you expect from a seasoned free agent brought in to offer leadership and stability to a young, hungry squad. She wasn't just underwhelming, she was invisible.
First of all, the fans are the victim. The organization was the victim here. Like, why are we sitting here, she up in these articles like she was a victim, like she did, like something was done wrong? No, the fans are a victim. They welcome you with open arms. They embraced you, and you turned your back and you quit. It's that simple. You quit. You refuse to show up to work. You wasn't hurt. You wasn't sick. It wasn't a personal no, you just didn't want to be on the team.
And yet, despite the lackluster performance, Fever fans remained patient. They believed in her. They hoped she'd bounce back. They gave her the benefit of the doubt. But instead of channeling that support into a comeback, Bonner seemed to decide it just wasn't worth the effort. So, she stopped trying. The Fever front office built their roster and managed their salary cap with the expectation that Bonner would be a core contributor. How did she repay that trust? By ghosting the team the moment things didn't go her way. It wasn't just unprofessional, it was calculated. A manipulative move that sends a dangerous message to every player in the league: if you don't like your role, just tank your effort until you're granted an exit. But here's what truly enrages Indiana Fever fans paying close attention: she didn't just leave. The moment she put on that Phoenix Mercury jersey, she magically transformed back into the player everyone thought they were getting. Suddenly she's dropping 22 points and grabbing 11 rebounds in just her second game. Convenient, right? Funny how that works.
You came here, you stunk it up, and then you got benched. Just because you was okay with coming off the bench in another situation don't mean you was okay with coming off the bench in this situation. So I want to know what's the real? What's the real? Because you can't say, while you was here, you said, oh, I've never played in front of this many fans. You were embraced by the fans. You spoke highly of the fans while you were here. You were a starter, but you wasn't playing well. And that was nobody else's fault that you was shooting threes, hitting the side of the backboard, and you was smoking layups. And then your starting spot got took, and then all of a sudden you refused to show up to work.
This isn't about finding a better system or finally hitting her stride. This is proof that Bonner was deliberately sandbagging her time in Indiana. The passion, the intensity, it was always there. She just chose to keep it under wraps until she landed where she wanted, playing alongside her fiancée, Alyssa Thomas. That sudden spike in performance isn't just suspicious, it's a dead giveaway. Even casual fans could connect the dots. Her breakout game in Phoenix was basically a confession. She could have helped the Fever. She just chose not to.
And if we gonna keep it real, Chloe Bibby, the new 7-day signee, has fit in and played better than DeWanna Bonner did anyway. Let's be clear here. Chloe Bibby came in first game, knocked down 2 threes. DeWanna Bonner first game versus the gum on the bottom of the shoe, Chicago Sky. We had to jump through hoops of fire and do all types of abracadabra magic tricks to get her to finally score to break that record. Here's a quote from DeWanna Bonner. I have no problem coming off the bench. I have never been that player. I don't feel like I have that reputation. Now, fair enough. You have won 6th Woman of the Year, respectfully. But that don't mean that's what you thought you were walking into. I believe you thought you was coming here to be a veteran leader, an OG, and a starter. She came here as a starter, was stinking it up, got injured, and Lexi Hall stepped in, and Lexi Hall should have been the starter from day one. DeWanna Bonner should have never been a starter in an Indiana Fever uniform. That's a fact.
The way that Caitlin Clark wants to play, which of course is the way that the Fever plays, that she is their nucleus, they want to push the ball down the court. They want to be quick. They want to be fast moving. At 37 years old, that style of play might not fit DeWanna Bonner very well. Like, that just doesn't highlight her strength. So I think it's probably a combination of style of play reasons, personal reasons, and yeah, like you said, at this point, she probably wants to win basketball games, make a little bit of money in the process.
Lexi Hall's success and continued success in the system with Caitlin from last year, I think, was the big reason that DeWanna Bonner was moved to the bench at all and kind of trying to figure that out. When I went back through last week, just kind of like pouring over all of these press conferences and like public comments and like my interviews that I had done in Indiana, the thing that stuck out to me was the first day, I think, of training camp, DeWanna Bonner had mentioned like she had to catch her breath because these guys are fast.
Yeah.
It looked like you was mad that Lexi Hall took the starting job.
Trying to figure out what everything changed with add pieces and pieces come in where you just shot as normally the game before you probably won't get that same shot, and just trying to figure out where you fit on this team. It's going to take us a little bit of time to gel, so just be patient, but it's going to be okay.
It's going to take us a little bit of time to gel. Just be patient. Oh man, Bonner. But man, it is crazy to hear her say that. It is crazy. Yeah, I can't hold you. The fact that now she's more so of understanding it's going to take some time to find your footing. It's, you have to be patient. Ah, man, that's tough, Bonner. That's tough. Coming from somebody that literally gave up. You gave up on Indiana Fever, man. You should have gave it some time, Bonner.